News!
Okay, we'll start with this. Ahead of his upcoming title defense this weekend, Subriel Matias dismisses Teofimo Lopez as a coward who will never fight him. Subriel Matias hopes Shakur Stevenson beats Teofimo on January 31st. Matias assumes that's the only way he'll get an opportunity to fight for the Ring's junior welterweight title in the foreseeable future. The World Boxing Council 140-pound champion is convinced Lopez would never seriously consider meeting him if both emerge victorious from their upcoming championship clashes.
So he figures that Shakur would do what Teofimo wouldn't? I'm not so sure.
The fact of the matter is, as long as Teofimo has the title, that fight will never happen, Matias told co-host Mike Coppinger during a recent episode of Inside the Ring on DAZN. Teofimo is a coward. Matias is more concerned this week with his first defense of the WBC title he won from Dominican southpaw Alberto Puello in his last fight. The powerful Puerto Rican is set to square off against England's Dalton Smith in the main event of a pay-per-view show Saturday night at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Matias, 33, a former IBF champion, is the Ring's second-ranked contender for Lopez's Ring Magazine title, behind only IBF champion Richardson Hitchens. Smith, 28, is ranked 7th by the Ring. Stevenson, number 7 on the Ring's pound-for-pound list, moved up from lightweight to challenge Lopez for his Ring Magazine and WBO crowns. Their title bout between 28-year-old rivals is the main event of Ring 6 in about 3 weeks at MSG in New York. Matias will sit ringside to watch Lopez versus Stevenson in hopes that he can get the winner. Matias would present Shakur Stevenson, if Shakur wins, a very similar challenge to the one he just got with William Zepeda in what was his last fight, just at a higher weight with a bigger guy who has more power.
Did you get the impression that Shakur Stevenson wants to go through that again? What he went through with William Zepeda, that was arguably the most difficult fight of his career so far.
Obviously, regarding Teofimo, he is a coward, Matias said. He did not want and avoided a fight against me, but Shakur, everyone knows he's a beast. I don't know if he'll stay at 140 or relinquish the title for Keyshawn Davis to obtain it. I understand that Keyshawn fights with Richardson Hitchens at some point. Davis, a former WBO lightweight champion from Norfolk, Virginia, is scheduled to make his super lightweight debut on the Lopez vs. Stevenson undercard against Jermaine Ortiz of Worcester, Massachusetts.
That's not going to happen either. It was originally thought that Keyshawn Davis, upon moving up, would stay there, campaign there, but he has since made it known that this is just a pit stop. After this Jermaine Ortiz fight, he means to move up to welter. So will it be Shakur that stays behind? Will it be him who campaigns at 140 moving forward? Because if he does, he's already under pressure to face Subriel Matias.
So you can tell that Subriel has a higher opinion of Shakur than he does of Teofimo, who he refers to outright as a coward. In truth, the stars never really aligned for those two guys to fight. For me to say that Lopez avoided him?
Not exactly.
Though I myself never got the impression that Lopez wanted that fight either. I don't know that I can say Teofimo ducked him. I just got the impression that he wouldn't fight him. Though is the situation any better if Shakur Stevenson gets his hands on that brown belt?
As stated, you can tell Subriel has a higher opinion of Shakur than he does of Teofimo, but if Shakur wins and he doesn't fight him right after that, well, that high opinion could soon change.
Shakur is a pure boxer. Teofimo is a boxer puncher. The one with the tactical advantage over Subriel, just based on styles, is actually Teofimo. He's got the right style for the job.
He's got the right style for a pressure guy. It's his physicality that I question, his resolve. Can he endure what punches get in? Because punches are going to. Subriel Matias throws punches and bunches, as pressure fighters often do, oftentimes sacrificing defense for offense in doing so. So you'll get all the countering opportunities you want, but at a price, because this guy's busy.
Very busy.
Anyone could look over the X's and O's of Teofimo and the X's and O's of Shakur Stevenson compared to Subriel's and come to the conclusion that they are more polished boxers than he is. But that's not what makes him dangerous. It's his relentless pressure, his work rate, his punching power,
His durability, because he can take a shot.
and his engine that this guy fights at a feverish pace to where you may start off all right. Jeremiah Ponce did, Shohan Ergashev did, though eventually the pace caught up to them. Would it catch up to Teofimo? Would it catch up to Shakur under the pressure and the damage that Subriel inflicts? It's one of the more intriguing fights in the entire 140-pound division. I think it doesn't get talked about enough. Which one of them is going to fight him?
Of the two, it is actually Teofimo that has the stylistic advantage over Subriel. Emphasis on styles, which doesn't count for physicality. Shakur,
Though a pure boxer, he's been in this situation before. We saw it not that long ago. He was able to endure against the pressure fighter in William Zepeda. Could he do that again against Subriel? Because most pure boxers can't.
so hopefully Subriel makes it through this weekend's fight so that he can register as a blip on Turki El Sheikh's radar. Use him on one of his Ring Magazine or Riyadh season cards in a unification match with the winner of Lopez versus Stevenson, or maybe Richardson Hitchens, because he's not doing very much. He needs a fight like this.
Maybe IBF champion, but nobody seems to give a damn.
Him versus Subriel Matias in a unification match makes for a great fight at 140. We'll see what happens after this weekend.
Elsewhere in the world of boxing, an update to a story we've been talking about here on the channel. Floyd Mayweather bankruptcy claims debunked amid recent reports.
A former member of Mayweather's team has dismissed widespread speculation about the boxing legend's finances as rumors with no concrete evidence. From what I know, he's still good. It's all rumors, nothing concrete. People always keep talking about Floyd. They've done it all his career, the insider exclusively told WBN.
This is supposed to be somebody who was connected to Floyd, except that some of the people that Business Insider spoke to were also connected to Floyd, and they didn't have to maintain their anonymity, like his old accountant, his old pilot for Air Mayweather,
Don Henke, who Floyd Mayweather was estimated to have borrowed $52 or $54 million from. These people who actually dealt with Floyd did not have to maintain their anonymity to say what they had to say. So why does this guy, if he's so clued in?
because this guy's full of shit.
This comment comes as Business Insider recently examined Mayweather's post-boxing business dealings, raising questions about his real estate investments, borrowing history, and overall asset management since he retired. And what was highlighted in that lengthy article is no mere hearsay and conjecture. It's all corroborated by court documents detailing liens, defaults,
Judgments against Floyd Mayweather.
in tandem with what assets he's had to auction off. It all paints a picture where Floyd maybe isn't on stable ground. And that's where the perspective comes from, that he may be on the verge of bankruptcy because he owes so many people so much money all at the same time.
Why?
He's swimming in it, like he says. The report highlighted claims of a substantial Manhattan property portfolio and large loans secured against multiple assets. While some transactions appeared complex, the reporting did not establish insolvency or bankruptcy, focusing instead on financial structure and liquidity relative to net worth.
Business Insider never claimed that Floyd Mayweather was going bankrupt. That's what people claimed after they read the article.
Now, what they did claim was that Floyd owes a lot of people a lot of money, which is 100% true.
This guy's been robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mayweather and his legal team have publicly disputed claims of financial difficulty in the past, noting that borrowing against depreciated assets is common among wealthy individuals. The boxer has emphasized that his investments and business ventures are part of long-term wealth strategies and is currently pursuing a $100 million defamation lawsuit regarding the reporting.
Yeah, they can say they're going to sue for defamation, but in reality, the suit wouldn't have a leg to stand on, since everything Business Insider said in that detailed article is corroborated by court documents. It's not defamatory to say you owe people money when they can prove you owe people money.
You must just find it embarrassing.
Previous statements from Mayweather have similarly pushed back on bankruptcy rumors, framing his post-boxing ventures as long-term planning and generational wealth building. The same insider offered a perspective on one of boxing's most talked about hypothetical matchups, on the possibility of Mayweather versus a Manny Pacquiao rematch this year. The source said it would be a marquee event for the sport.
Well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. That's some insight.
In other obvious news, water is wet.
Pussy is pink. The real question is, after so many years of blowing off the idea that he should run it back with Manny Pacquiao, why is Floyd all of a sudden willing to entertain it? And at a time where he seems to be swimming in debt. Is that a coincidence?
Manny has been vehemently pursuing that rematch from the moment that they first fought, and Floyd Mayweather would have none of it. So that all of a sudden, over 10 years later, now he's willing to do it. And it's supposed to be a coincidence, I guess. It's supposed to be a coincidence that he owes all these people all this money.
Floyd versus Manny would probably be the biggest fight of the year if it were to happen. It would also be a great platform for some of the upcoming young fighters in the Mayweather promotion stable, like Kermel Moton, to showcase their talent.
Yeah, I think Kermel is all that remains of the Mayweather promotion stable. Every other fighter I can think of that was there ended up leaving. So the least that Floyd Mayweather can do can get his only remaining fighter a slot on his undercard. It's supposed to be Netflix behind this thing.
Media commentary around Mayweather's finances has been mixed, with some questioning his wealth and spending habits. However, no credible outlet has confirmed that Mayweather is bankrupt or unable to meet his obligations.
Well, nobody said he was bankrupt. Nobody said he was filing Chapter 11. What they said was he owes a lot of people a lot of money, and you're going out of your way to debunk something no one said, which says a lot about you.
Estimates place his career earnings at more than $1.1 billion, with a current net worth in the 10-figure range, keeping him among the wealthiest boxers in history.
They made sure to throw that part in.
Recent reporting highlights financial complexity, including loan and asset leverage. However, the insider says concerns about Mayweather's economic stability are widely unfounded, as they are based on second-hand knowledge of how the books are balanced. The situation demonstrates that high-net-worth individuals can operate intricate financial arrangements without becoming insolvent.
Well, if Mayweather ever became insolvent, I hardly think he's gonna run out and tell everybody. Though when has it ever been the earmark of financial stability being in debt as much as Mayweather is in debt, owing as much as Mayweather owes to as many people? When has that ever been a good sign?
Never.
Sifting through the coded language from World Boxing News and this anonymous source and all of their lukewarm commentary, certain things always boil down to common sense, like, it's common sense to me, and it has been for some time now, that World Boxing News is a pro-PBC, pro-Al Heyman, pro-Mayweather rag.
So of course they wanted to get in front of Business Insider's recent story to run interference for Floyd Mayweather. But they're not actually refuting any of the claims that Business Insider made.
Because they're not mere claims. They are matters of fact, corroborated by actual documentation. This is not hearsay and conjecture. This is not, I spoke to so-and-so, and this is what they told me. That's what you're providing.
You and whoever this anonymous individual is, who needed to remain anonymous to give us these generic perspectives?
That's weird.
Oddly enough, the people that Business Insider spoke to, who have actually dealt with Floyd Mayweather firsthand, did not need to remain anonymous to say what they said. So why does this guy?
It's almost like this person chose to remain anonymous because they knew that if people see who this intel is coming from, they will immediately dismiss it.
Like, of course you're gonna say that.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if it was Stefan Espinoza that they spoke to, because if it were, what little bit he's imparted in this World Boxing News article would have been immediately dismissed, immediately ignored. It's always sunshine and rainbows when you ask Stefan, up until the point he and the PBC were kicked off of Showtime, like I told you they were going to get kicked off of Showtime.
How vehemently did he deny those rumors that they were in trouble and they might get the axe?
About as vehemently as this anonymous individual is denying that Floyd may be in trouble financially. Let me get this straight. You needed to remain anonymous to tell us that, as far as you know, he still has money, and him versus Manny in a rematch is a big fight.
Well, let me try not to fall over myself from how good this inside intel is, Deep Throat. You needed to remain anonymous to tell us that?
Common sense. Some things all boil down to common sense. That if Floyd Mayweather were not facing financial struggles, he would not be scheduling exhibition matches at the rate that he has been for years now, to the point where it's almost like he didn't retire, like he didn't move on. You're still selling boxing matches, even if they're packaged as exhibitions. All the same, you're in the same racket. You're doing the same thing. And I think you're doing it because you don't have a choice.
Fighting Manny Pacquiao for a second time and perhaps Mike Tyson in the same calendar year seems like a last-ditch effort to scrounge up as much cash as you can so you can pay off the debt collectors, so you can keep your head above water. The problem with Floyd is, at the rate you're spending money for what are luxury items and expensive trinkets, you'll be back in the hole before you know it.
And he is in the hole. There's no denying that he owes what he owes.
The question is why? When one is as well off and one has generated what Floyd Mayweather has generated, there's no real reason, no good one, for you to not pay your debts. When has it ever been the earmark of financial stability being in this many people's pockets? Do you hear this kind of stuff about Jeff Bezos, about Warren Buffett,
Elon Musk?
I don't hear this kind of stuff about Floyd's old buddy, 50 Cent. A couple of years ago, it was actually 50 who said that Floyd's burnt through a lot of the cash that he made as a boxer. And I can believe it, because look at how he spends it.
Separately, why are World Boxing News and some individuals out there so protective of what's supposed to be Mayweather's business acumen and his portfolio?
They want to believe the lie. This is the same guy that told you not that long ago he's raking in $300 million in commercial real estate.
$300 million a month.
It would come out to a grand total of $3.6 billion annually every year if what he were saying were true. You're bringing in that kind of scratch. It's very hard to hide. And no reputable periodical, no credible news source reports Floyd making that kind of dough from commercial real estate. What is being reported is the opposite. His endeavors did not pan out.
So he's still boxing. And I'm supposed to be surprised?
That when his other business ventures did not pan out, he resorts to the one thing he knows how to do. The only thing he knows how to do, really.
Sell fights.
Make it make sense. He retired from professional boxing, retired from selling fights, so that he could continue to sell fights in the subsequent years that followed.
Make it make sense, where some others graduate from what they used to do and what may have been the launch pad for their success. You know, 50 started off as a recording artist.
So did Jay-Z, so did Rihanna, and then they graduated to other things.
Reese Witherspoon started off as an actress.
Then made even more millions getting into publishing. All well documented, a matter of public record. It's not cloak and dagger, because why would it be if you're that successful?
Whereas with Floyd, the only thing that's public is the rate at which he's still burning through cash and who he owes.
So you can make of that what you will.